Is the new Sentinels roster better than the old one? Well, probably not. But now that I've got you to click on the video with some rage bait, let's talk about the new Sen roster, because in the Sen City Classic, they managed to win the whole thing, beating Envy in the grand final. And actually, the first thing I want to talk about with the new Sen roster is actually just taking a look at the roles, right? So this is in a best of 3. You can see all the different things that we're playing here, right? You got Cortesia playing primary controller, a Killjoy, a secondary controller, and Viper. You got Redux playing Chamber, Astra, Yoru, very different, right? Obviously, Kaiu's going to play the Fade and Sova on some maps, I'm sure, as well. You got John playing Sage, Teo, Omen, right? Narrate's playing all 3 different duelists. Like, this, I think, is an important thing to start off with your roster construction, right? Because I think it gets overrated saying when people go, oh, but if they bring in this player, they haven't got X, Y, you know, they don't have, well, who's going to play this role, blah, blah, blah. You don't know what the meta is going to be, right? When these rosters get formed, you don't know. For instance, a lot of people now are like, oh, well, you need to be able to play double duelist. Well, what if Riot nerfs Yoru right before kickoff starts? Or, for instance, they bring out an agent like they did last year with Teo, that it's like, oh, well, now you have to play this agent, so get learning, buddy. Having a roster that is I mean, you look at the Sen roster, you can literally play anything, right? Double Senti, double controller, you know, no Senti with double controller, double initiator, double duelist. Everything is on the cards for this Sen roster, and I think that's just a great starting point for any roster. But now let's take a look at their game versus Envy. We're going to take a look here at Sunset. And we're going to start off with their bonus attack round here for Sen. And this and the first couple of rounds we're going to see, I think, just show something in Sen, which I think is a very good start, good foundations to have, that they have these kind of rounds and understanding, because what you're going to see in these rounds is like very good patience from Sentinels, right? And I know some of you say like, oh, it's an off-season tournament, who cares, right? Like, what's the big deal? But the thing is, you should practice how you play. And this is probably a kind of round that you will see from Sentinels going forward, right? So they create some pressure out towards A here. They've got, you know, the insert of the chamber in mid, who can always TP away. So we're in a good spot. Now these guys start to perhaps feel like there is some pressure coming over towards them. So you got Cortesia exploring out towards B main here, you could see as well. And eventually he's going to realize like, hey, there's a Vice set up here. My team is making noise over towards A. My chamber, you know, has been spotted out towards mid. That means that there's a lot of eyes coming this way, right? So you can see here that, especially because I think he sees the Vice here, right? So you've got chamber, I think, seeing Vice means that Cortesia knows, well, here's the Vice wall, probably the Vice isn't behind it, so that means that I can go, right? So what this is showing is like good understanding, good communication, and good patience here to get into this spot. And these are good signs. These are good signs for, you know, a new team, you know, forming together, because we end up in a very good round, right? We don't rush anything. We also got little details here as well that are quite nice. Like, for instance, when we're running across here, we're going to pass on over the spike to the Neon. Why are we doing that? Because obviously the Neon can get there faster, and we know that this site is secure for now, right? We've got this site on lockdown in this time being. We're also going to be aware of the potential threats that, you know, could potentially ruin this round, which is someone pushed up all the way here. So we throw a Fade Horn. That's not there. We then get our Fade, you know, tucking in for anyone coming for this flank, because there is no flank watch here. So this is a really nice idea as well. You're going to see they get this kill and they end up cleaning up this round, and you instantly get, this is the 3rd round of this map, a good sign from Sentinels of good understanding, good communication, and ending up in a very good round.
Looking 5. I turn this one.
Walled market. One in their spot. One in back.
I can buy battle back if you can.
Close to me. Out long.
Okay, now let's come and take a look at the very next round, where Sen end up kind of building off exactly what they just did in the last round, right? So it looks kind of similar at the start of the round. They come for this mid take, they push back Exeter just there with the Fade Horn, and, you know, they come and take this initial space in mid. Again, you got the Chamber, Omen here. These 3 now that mid is kind of secure and we're in a good spot here, these guys come back towards A. Now, one thing we need to note, of course, is that we did get some fairly significant, you know, Omen changes here with the way that the smoke's working. You're going to see that in this round, because we get past this one way initially, we force out the paranoia, the drone comes out here, we're just going to stay patient. And this is something that you will see more from teams now, I think, which is that you can afford to wait more, because this one way now isn't going to be able to be refreshed, right? There is no one way here for Curry again, right? So that is one of the significant changes that came to Omen with the smoke cooldown nerf, and you're going to see that Sentinels can now take advantage of that.
Poppin's pushing. Oh.
It's so aggro.
Okay, so great start there to the round for Sentinels, where they managed to get the first 2 kills, and we tried to go, you know, for an aggressive play. They get ahead of the smoke that Sen put down, so you see the Sen put a smoke, you know, trying to take this space here. They then come in Prowler, realize that these guys, you know, are pushed up, and then you see that they managed to destroy both of them. But it's this part of the round that I actually like the most from Sen, right? Because just watch, they're not going to run in head first. They know they're playing against a Yoru, a very patient Yoru in Exeter, so he still could be anywhere, right? He could be over towards A now, and you see they actually end up with 2 players over towards A, but they're just patient, right? We don't do anything. We just sit, we just wait, right? And just look at the confusion that causes Envy, because in the last round, they actually ended up, you know, kind of chilling and eventually coming towards B with finding the gap, right? So take a look at what it does to these players. This time we chill, but we're actually going A, right? But we create confusion. We create, you know, uncertainty, and eventually what ends up happening is Cortez is going to get this kill just here on Kane, and now they're going to take the A site, and it's going to be a save for Envy, right? Look at the map. Look at how well we did. And also note as well that this kind of round, again, perhaps is going to, where you chill here after getting these kills, is perhaps going to be a bit more likely, again, because of your recon initiator cooldown timing, right, is now longer as well. Okay, now let's come to round number 6, which is a round that doesn't start that well for Sentinels.
Oh my god.
Okay, so this is one of these situations where, and I have been guilty of this in my videos and stuff, saying certain nerfs don't matter. And when I say stuff like the Omen nerf doesn't matter or the Yoru nerf doesn't matter, what I mean is really that it doesn't matter for their pick rate. People are still going to pick those agents, and they will, and they have done so far, you know, in these kind of off-season tournaments. People will still pick those agents. But of course, those nerfs do still have an effect. Right, they can influence. We saw it with the Omen smoke there. We'll see it later on in this video as well. But this one, we see the Omen Paranoia nerf got shorter, right? So it doesn't reach all the way back here, right? So anyone who's back here now, it doesn't reach. And even if you think about this in terms of if someone was close to this as well and got hit by the Paranoia, because of the near sight changes, it's actually possible that they would be able to see narrate as well, right? So there's kind of like 2 prongs to this, that when you're going for these kind of paranoias, like, you know, in this kind of spot here, 1, it's not long enough to reach people back here, and 2, if it catches someone who's very close, they might actually still be able to see you. And in this instance, you actually get narrate getting spammed by these guys, right? So these guys over here get the spam on narrate, and then, you know, he's essentially kind of an easy target here for popping, and, you know, he ends up taking a good timing, and narrator's in a bit of trouble there. But again, when we watch this round, I now want to kind of talk about this from the Envy side, because obviously they've done a good job kind of surviving that first wave and, you know, getting into a good spot here, you know, where they've managed to find the first kill. But you're going to see something from them here, Envy, which I think is like part of their game, that particularly as they're going to make some roster moves, right, and the players that they bring in probably won't be, you know, quite as aggressive, I would guess, but we'll have to see, right? But just take a look here as they kind of, they try and, you know, take some fights here that I don't think are ideal, right? So this one I don't have a problem with, right? You're using your Omen Paranoia, your Yoru can escape, your Omen can escape, right? It's like absolutely fine. But now they put up this smoke, and they've kind of, you know, they've had that duel, and they're kind of resetting the bounds. But then instantly off the back of that, we're then droning. You're seeing this, and now take a look at what happens.
Good smoke. Saw 3.
Oh, Kane just swings. He's a freak for that. He's a freak for that one.
So yeah, I know that obviously Kane won't be playing with them next year, but again, practice how you play. And this is just one of those things, like, you can't be doing this, right? Solo Reyna, I mean, your drone has literally seen like multiple people staring at this angle, right? We've actually seen already 2 people staring at this angle. You probably have an idea that there's at least a third there as well. You cannot solo one Reyna flash swing that, right? that is not gonna work. There is now less utility in the game. Now, make sure utility more important. Are you going to use your utility for something like that? Or do you want to wait for your opponents, who also have less utility, to actually go and do something, right? Because eventually, now we get that. So we gave Redux the ult, you know, by giving them that first kill. And now all of this happens when we lose a round where we're actually in a very good spot. Okay, now let's take a look at round number 19, where we actually have Zekken observing his replacement's ace.
He's up here.
Boom.
Nice.
Redux.
Redux.
Oh, he switches to Reyna. Nice.
Yeah.
Crazy observing.
Wait, what?
Redux.
I'm kidding.
Damn.
I'm just saying.
Where is Inspire?
Yeah, a really nice ace there from Redux, and this, I think, fills you with some hope if you're a Sen fan and you're watching this, because this is what you want to see, right? So again, we kind of, and this again is where it does get interesting with kind of, you know, the utility nerfs, and I think particularly for agents, and we have seen in these off-season tournaments, more chamber. I think, you know, as people actually learn how to use Veto, you know, add Veto into that, certainly Yoru as well, right? Agents with teleporters just got a lot better because of this dilemma now, right? Where you have like, well, I have less util overall, so do I want to use that util to clear this kind of initial space, or do we think we can just get away with it? Now, I personally think when, for instance, you've got a Yoru ult, that this is a good example of a round. You've got Yoru ult, it's a crucial full buy round. Like, this is one of those situations where you do have enough utility. Because you've got this extra ult here that's also going to give you information, you can afford, right, to, you know, use a drone or whatever in this first part, because you're going to have a Yoru ult for the site, right? Or at least that should be MV's plan, in my opinion. Ult rounds as well, and how you use ults, particularly ults like a Yoru ult or ults that give you information, you know, are going to become, you know, more important in how you kind of theorize and plan out the round, because they should give you kind of that extra bit, right, to be able to, you know, safely kind of navigate these situations. But we see that MV don't in this instance, and well, they end up paying for it pretty heavily here, because some of these shots that Redux hits are kind of nasty, and honestly might have been in my best ace compilation had this happened in VCT last year. And then finally, let's finish here with round number 21, the last round. And in this one, we're actually going to get a Yoru ult coming out from Extra. And again, this is where we just need more patience from Poppin here and the MV players in general, because what they're going to do is they're going to Yoru ult A here with a TP back over towards B, right? So watch, so the Yoru ult comes out here, you're now Yoru ulting, but then he's going to TP across to B. But we actually get the first kill coming in B main, right? So again, this is another situation where if you're popping, there's literally no reason to do that. That should literally never happen, because our round plan here is that our Yoru is going to TP here anyway, right? So he can clear that for you. You just have to full chill and wait for him to get around that corner and then start sprinting, right? But now, as we watch them come into the site, you're also going to see, you know, again, that Yoru ult nerf potentially making a difference.
Get another ace so he can get to his 30.
Oh my god.
Another ace.
Oh my god.
That's crazy.
So again, this is a really good job by Redux, but again, you see here that like the Yoru ult nerf, I think matters here. And I caught multiple situations in this tournament where this Yoru ult nerf, I think, did make a difference, because if Exeter can flash him here, he flashes him. Right, there's no way that he wouldn't flash him here. It's kind of a weird spot because they want to charge forward with the Yoru ult envy here, which I understand, but again, they're like a little bit late to Omen flash him, right? Like if you're the Omen here, you kind of have to always be ready with that. They do eventually get the trade, but you know, Redux kind of has already done his damage. We do end up in a 2v2 here, but again, I want you to watch as this round plays out. We can see in this kind of 2v2, a good example from Sentinels of like having patience of how to eventually convert a 2v1 and not rushing the situation.
Oh, yes.
Has two prowlers.
Start my
Wait. Oh wow, Curry got out the way then. Nice.
1v2 Curry.
Pretty sick with the TP.
Okay.
Has to relive. Oh man.
Oh, GG!